Siddhartha Gautama Buddha was born in the 5th century in India. He grew up in a palace. He was very rich. He had a title. I heard it was where I've been researching it. This video said that one day he left his palace and he saw the reality of the suffering that was unfolding around him. He saw sickness, disease, and death. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but perhaps you could say something changed within him. And he later led a life of asceticism, of self-denial, and a journey to nirvana, which means enlightenment, which means peace. One of my thoughts about this, guys, my thoughts as a Christian is that I believe there's a lot of great stuff to be taken away from this philosophy. And I call it a philosophy because, guys, if anything in this video I say that's wrong, please correct me. This is just my own research. But I looked online and it says they don't believe in a personal God. It's just, so I guess you could say it's a philosophy. But the Buddha said a lot of things that are true, and I believe it's realism. It's realism. My main example is detachment. I've been looking a lot into detachment. When we are attached to the outcome of different things, and that outcome is not what we wanted, it can lead us to disappointment, to sadness, to disappointment, and suffering. This is the point of detachment. I made a video. I just recorded this video right now, but I couldn't fully grasp. I could fully grasp it. I couldn't fully explain this philosophy, and it's true, guys. I read a story online where this lady went for this job interview, and she done really well. She was positive she was going to have the job. She made up all these expectations in her mind that she's going to get this job. It's going to be really great. There's going to be loads of benefits to it. And a day went by. She didn't think much of it. A week went by. She said, maybe they're just very busy. A month went by and she didn't get any phone call back. She said later that she went through so much suffering because she was attached to the outcome of this job. And she didn't realize, I guess you could say, like the stuff that she already had, that she had stability and perhaps I read the story, of course. I can't remember off the top of my head fully, but the suffering was caused because of her attachment to the outcome of that situation. And then you could definitely say, is desire the root of all suffering? That is what Buddha mentions. There's a lot of things to unpack in this philosophy. I think my main things that I can take away from it is detachment and the 2 arrows. Now, I found this channel, really, really good channel. I believe it's called, I'll put it on the screen, Self-Help Tunes, and it talks about mental health, how to deal with anxiety, depression, and other things. And he mentioned the 2 arrows of Buddhism. Now, what does the 2 arrows mean? The 2 arrows means that the first arrow that is inflicted on us is the arrow of this life, of suffering, of pain, of disappointment. And it's like a punch in the stomach. For example, you just got broken up with, or you're experiencing a loved one passing away, and it's like a punch in the chest or a punch in the face. Buddha said that, I don't know if he said quote unquote, but the idea is the second arrow is the arrow of suffering. So the first arrow is what happens in our life that makes us suffer, and the second one is extra suffering that we can bypass if we practice radical acceptance of our situation, of how we feel, our internal feelings of mental anguish, of anxious thoughts. if we can fully embrace and accept it for what it is, we can bypass the suffering that it causes. It's a very interesting idea. So those are the two biggest things I can take away from it, guys. And let me know what you guys think about it in the comments down below. And you may ask me, well, isn't this like a Christian channel? Yes, it is. But it, of course, doesn't stop me from seeking, what is out there? You know what I mean? So, I know they believe in karma as well. So that's something that, what goes around comes around. Basically, you could say there's a biblical principle for that. Treat others as you would like to be treated. I do believe what goes around comes around, definitely. There's a lot of things to unpack, guys, but yeah, it's interesting with other philosophies in this world that have helped people not only cope with the realities of this world, but to fully embrace and accept it and to thrive in this world that is full of chaos. One of those as well was I was going to mention. I mentioned I don't know if I've mentioned it in a video, in a previous video, was Stoicism. Now, what's the name of the book I was reading? The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. That's the one. And I've read that. I think I've read that about twice now. And Marcus Aurelius is one of those Stoic philosophers where it teaches you about the suffering that is there, it teaches you to accept it for what it is, and for example, if a bad situation happens, you can actually find the good out of it and see what it's trying to teach you. I'll put a few quotes on, guys, for the screen, like that would better explain what I've been like looking at and things like that, so if that makes sense. And as well as that, really randomly, I was in Scotland a couple of weeks ago, and then I saw a few Buddhist monks walking in Oban, which is just really bizarre, especially in Scotland of all places. So yeah, guys, let me know what you think about this philosophy. This, again, you can't call it a religion because they don't believe in a personal god. They're not theistic. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting read, guys, and let me know what your thoughts are. God bless.